You said that you increase the value of the property by making improvements to
Hmm.
the property.
Yes.
What I would argue on that is that's the value of the property is an indirect effect of making improvements to the property. I'll explain. Making improvements to the property doesn't improve the value of the property. It does not. I would say that. Making improvements to the property increases your potential rental income. The income which produces the profit, that's what produces an increase in value. Does that make sense? All right, welcome to REI 101. This is your friend Austin from Houston. Beautiful Monday morning. The sun is finally out. I haven't seen the sun in 6 weeks, so this is nice. How you doing, brother? What's going
Oh
on, Albert?
man, I'm doing well, man. I'm really happy too that this rain has finally stopped, at least for a little while. It was just really slowing down our new construction projects. So
Yeah,
we're kind of in high gear now to try to get these things done as quickly as possible before the next bout of rain gets
you
here.
you never know. There may be like a tropical activity in the
Yeah.
at any moment. Usually, I don't hear about it until it's like, oh, tomorrow we're getting hit by a storm. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, these
So,
things just kind of form, 50 miles from the island. They're like, oh, by the way.
so today's gonna be a fun day. We're gonna really start digging deep into multifamily because there's so many reasons. We can probably just have an episode where we're like multifamily versus single family investment. What's the difference? Pros and cons. There are pros. There are cons.
Mhm.
What are what do you think some of the cons are? Why do you think a lot of people stick with the single family and not? I'll just go ahead and ask you because you've done more new construction, single family, short term rentals, long term rentals.
Yes.
It's mainly for the most part it's been single family, right?
It's pretty much all been, yeah, all been single family. I think a couple things. The reason why people probably go there and stay there is there's probably a lower barrier of entry, right? A
Yeah.
lower, a cost to play that game, right? There's also the learning curve as well is not as steep with multifamily and figuring out NOI and cap
Hmm.
rates, expenses for small multis and buildings and things like and everything that comes along with that, right? Because
Right.
everyone kind of, well, most investors probably already own or have purchased a home before, right? They're
Hmm.
primary. So that's something that they're familiar with. You know what I mean? It's in their comfort zone. I think that's why it's kind of logical for people to just
Yeah.
start. Yeah.
It's easier to get financing on single family. That
Yeah.
for the most part, usually the down payment's going to be higher
Hmm.
unless you're our special guest that we're going to introduce you to today. Usually your interest rate's going to be higher unless you're our special guest that we're going to introduce you today. Um, and usually you're dealing with vacancy issues and different things like that. So there are some there's a scary side to the multifamily if you're not prepared. But that's why we are starting these conversations about the multifamily space because in my opinion, the pros certainly outweigh the cons. I'll give you a couple reasons why. It's much easier to scale in the multifamily space. It's much easier to scale. Vacancies don't kill you, so
Okay.
you can
Yeah.
have a vacant unit. You got, you know, Edric has an 8 unit. You get one vacant, and so we'll talk about that today. And I'm looking forward to hearing Edric's perspective. But um, the appreciation in the city of Houston, the Houston market, has been like almost 2% higher annually going back 25 years than compared to single family homes. And I
Hmm.
think that's a quiet positive that a lot of people don't talk about. It's that long term return on investment. So I picked a couple of deals I'm going to share with you, Albert.
All right.
What we're doing. I'm going to share my screen. Um, I've been going through and just kind of compiling a spreadsheet of deals, and all you want to see this spreadsheet and Edric and anybody on this call. Um, if you want to talk more about this one on one, you can book a one on one appointment with me. But I've got cap rate and I've got an estimated DSCR. So we've talked about DSCR
Mhm.
before. This is basically based on what we think we can get this financed at. This is your DSCR. For every dollar that you're paying toward your mortgage, you're going to have 80 cents left over. That's so you're making 180% of your mortgage is your net income. So anything above one makes money. Everything above 1.25 or 1.3, these are deals that we can get a bank to finance. If it's going to be below 1, 2.5, or if it's going to be below one, certainly. If you're below one, you're going to lose money. You're going to have a negative cash flow until you make improvements. But you start getting into that 1.3 mark, banks have your attention at this point. Now you're saying like this guy's two, like what's going on with there? So let's pull a deal. Albert, I'll let you pick. We got a 10 cap, a 9 cap, and a 12 cap. This is and these are all
What is
multifamilies, a 32 unit, 42 unit, and a 4 unit.
that 4 unit? That looks good.
That four units.
Okay, so let's pull up this one. I'm going to tell you what I know. And so this, if you use my calculator that I created, you can do this very
Mhm.
fast. So I know it's a 12 cap.
Oh, it's in Midland. Okay.
Oh, this is kind of far away. So that might be a deal killer for most of us, just being that far away. So here's the Checkmate Real Estate Commercial Deal Evaluator. So I'm going to put in my address. Might want to remember that's in Midland. I'm going to assume that we can, they're not missing a zero right here. So I'm going to add the purchase price. And they don't tell us what the net operating income, but I got a 12.06 cap rate. So we can calculate that. Ooh. So if I got 3.9, so the way to figure out the net operating income, if all you have is cap rate, you just take the price and multiply by 12.08%. And your net operating should be 48,000. It's right there. So this is what it does.
Yeah, you need to change that. Net operating income. You have an extra.
48, is that what I came up with?
There you go.
48,078 and 4 cents. Oh, this doesn't let me do decimal. So it thinks I have a 28% cash on cash return. At a 12 cap, this is very, very possible. So it's automatically default. It's assuming that I'm going to put 20% down, which in
Mm.
this case is going to be close to 80,000. If I can get this at 6.5% on a 25-year amortization, this could possibly be an out of the park home run right here because you can kind of see my loan amount's 318, my investment's 80,000. So at a 1.86 DSR, I have a annual cash flow of 22,000. So
That's before
no,
expenses, right?
this is after that your annual cash flow is after expenses and after debt service.
Okay, that's with the assumption on the NOI. Got you.
Yeah. So this NOI right here, this number right here is a good starting number. This is going to be your income after expenses. And of course we can validate it, but I don't recommend don't dig through the leases, lease agreements, the rental. Don't dig through that yet. Just look at this number. If you have this number, you got the information you need to
Well,
know
well,
if this is
you have the information you need to just dig a little deeper, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
It's like pass or play right here. So 48,000, when I plug in 48,000 at 398, if I can get 20% down, My loan amount's 318. I'm only investing $80,000. So after I pay my debt service, I have a cash flow of $22,000. That's where that 28% cash on cash return. That's a return on my investment at 28% with a deal like this. And this doesn't even include the potential appreciation right there. And then you'll love this. You can save this as a beautiful PDF.
Over here, get on my map. Like, where is Midland, Texas?
Midland is where the oil is out
Yeah, it's
west.
over in kind of West Texas, right?
Odessa, it's where you play football or
Yeah, kind of between, right between, yeah, it's right between El Paso and like Waco, right
so,
in the middle.
so I've got a couple of tools that I created. This is my, I mean, what do you think about my deal evaluator?
That's
Edric,
pretty like,
I used Claude
yeah,
to make this. Claude made,
yeah.
I told
I
Claude
think,
what I wanted and it made it exactly the way I wanted.
I
So
figured you did. Yeah.
So if you're interested, I have an amortization calculator, I have a net sheet calculator, buyer's net sheet calculator, lease versus own evaluator.
Yeah.
Text me the and I'll send you the just text me and say send me the tools, Austin, or you can put a post in the Zoom chat today. Edric, thanks for being with us, man. How are you doing?
Good. Midland's only an hour and a half flight, so I'm interested in that deal. I think I can expense some flights over there.
Okay, we'll write it up. Caroline, write Edric an offer. We'll get this going. We'll get this going. Claude, write an offer. Just kidding.
You go.
All right, so we want to talk about this deal. So it's kind of funny because we all know each other, the seller and you, and y'all closed on this deal, and y'all both came to happy hour. Nobody was fighting. It was kind of cool. Albert and I almost bought this, but before we gave it to you. So
Edric was too fast. Edric was faster.
he was faster. He was ready to go.
He was ready to
So
go.
So I'm going to get your perspective because all four of us, Corey included, we all have different perspectives about it because Corey's the one that sold it. It ended up, I felt like it looked pretty dang good on paper. What do you think, Edric? How did you feel about it? You want to tell us what this deal is that everybody wants to know. What are you
Sure.
talking about? What kind of deal?
So yeah, this is a 8 unit, eightplex in Texas City, eight doors, one building, and got it from Corey. Looking at the books and looking at the rent roll and everything, I saw the potential. It was okay when I purchased it, but I saw some things that I could clean up. He had his Excel sheet, his rent roll and everything uh, down where I could dissect it and rip it apart and see what I could improve or change on.
Hmm.
And so yeah, it was a good deal. Mainly not just because the numbers worked for the rent roll, but and like you were saying earlier, getting the funding for it.
Yeah.
Corey financed it himself, as you know, with 10% down, which made it doable for me immediately. Otherwise, it would have been at 20% through a bank, a lot of headache, and uh, it would have depleted my capital to go straight to a bank. But this gives me a 2 year buffer with a balloon, and then that'll allow me to refi
Y-
at the end of another year and a half.
So tell us about that balloon. How did that come about? Why did you decide to do that? Was that something that you proposed, or was that a suggestion that your amazing agent made, or how did that work out?
I'm not sure if it was the agent or the seller, so you may have more clarification on that. But
Yes, the answer is
yeah,
all of the above.
yeah, yeah. No, it was y'all presented it where it's digestible, like it was doable.
Hmm.
And a lot of commercial properties where you need to put, 20% down and go
Yeah.
through a lot of hoops to jump through. We didn't have to do that on this one, which is not the norm. So
So
it's just easier for everybody.
and I'll let Albert jump into, but can you tell us what did the vacancy occupancy look like? What did the tenants look like? Were there any issues going in there with some of the tenants that you had?
Of course. So going this was my first Aplex. It is an apartment style. I am the main guy. And that
Hmm.
was one of the things I looked on the Excel sheet was maintenance guy. So I was like, what can I take away and do myself? And so for the first month, I wanted my eyes and my feet on the property to get to know the
So
tenants,
he
get
had a
to,
maintenance guy in place.
yes.
Okay.
And I was trying immediately to eradicate certain expenses I knew I could get rid
Okay.
of. So one of them was a CPA on there, which I didn't need that for
Hmm.
anything that I'm doing, not currently, or maybe not even in the future. I handle it pretty well. So I was able to eliminate that and some other small items, grass cutting, renegotiated deals with people,
Okay.
cut the cut the maintenance guy out. I am now the maintenance guy for anything that I can do within 30 minutes, maybe an hour tops, and within my capabilities and my tools.
Yeah.
After I had to have the roof replaced, it's that flat roof. I called an expert roofer, $600 later, leak is fixed, all good. So there's a
Cool.
fine line, but I spend as much time on the property as possible to get to know the tenants, who are my great ones, who are the mediocre ones, who are my problem children, who's going to be late every month, who do I need to keep an eye out for? Like getting to know my new 8 children that
Nice.
I'm actually, it was 7 of the 8 doors. So when I got it from Corey, 7 of the 8 were rented. One was open. Actually, I wanted that and I liked that because it gave me a chance to go into one open unit, get a good feel for how all 8, because they're all pretty much identical, and get familiar with the property. And then I got another tenant in that. It's 100% right now, and cash flow is good.
Has
Oh,
it been
wow.
100% occupied the whole time?
I've had it for 6 months now. I think 5 of the 6 months, yes. Let's just say the first month I took a little bit of time to get
Mhm.
adjusted
Hmm.
to the new place. And then after the first month, I tried worked on getting another renter in there.
That's
But
awesome.
before that, I wasn't trying. Wanted
That is cool.
that.
So like what I'm hearing is you identified places that you can make improvements, right? Make adjustments. That's what you did. So that improved the deal already, right? Because you said it looked good on paper. So now you made these improvements. What I want, and now you're 100% occupied, no vacancies at the moment, and you got some repairs done. My question is, do you see do you see some opportunities with increasing the rents? And with that, would you have to do anything to the apartments in order to increase rents, or are you just pretty much good to go for the next foreseeable future?
Yes, to all the above. I could stay as is and be fine. Uh, I am not going to do that. I'm going to try to raise it a little bit. Everybody's either 950 or 975 a month.
Mhm.
Uh, that is about the threshold there. I wanted to get to 1,000 a month, but it starts cutting off. There's other places people can live that
Mhm.
I found that are better and closer and for a little bit more. Um, so I can bump it up a little bit. The main thing I want to do to increase the value, and I could increase that, increase the rent directly, is replace the windows. This building is over 50 years old, original, just single pane
Put
windows. And
aluminum windows.
I
Yeah.
just want to go in and do double pane windows that'll increase everybody's, or help with their energy bill, their electricity. As well, and I can tell them that I can pitch it that, hey, for 25 bucks a month, extra more, it will increase your rent, and then just replace all the windows.
Yeah.
So
So
that was really my next ticket item.
okay, good. And then you were talking about like you mentioned about this balloon payment, right? Well, I guess you either like you got two choices to either kind of refinance with Corey, right? So he could extend it, or you'll refinance with a bank.
Yes, I'll be
Gotcha.
refinancing that. It is a balloon at the end of 2 years. So another year and a half, I will have to have a loan. I've already gone to 3 different bankers. They all say they can do it. The SCR loan, they just need to see it's, the rent roll already showed them. So
Oh, good.
right now,
Good.
I could go get a loan and pay Corey and
Just
be
with the
done.
Don't
current
don't
rents
let
where they're at
don't let
right
him
now.
hear you say that.
No, and I'm okay. So that is a possibility I could do.
Yeah.
That is theoretical. Let me put it that way. Theoretically, I could go to a bank and get a DSCR loan right now,
I
but
got you.
in order to get the payment down to the monthly note that I currently have now with a bank, I would need to put another 50K down.
Right.
Right.
I'm going to spend the next year and a half with this property, taking all the profits. just setting aside for when I refi.
Now, do you think that like the time between like now and then that your value will increase so you wouldn't have to bring that much cash?
Yeah, have you thought about selling it at the end of that balloon instead of refinancing it?
Or
Are you back? We lost you for a second.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Sorry,
yeah,
man.
Edric,
Did you
did you
hear
hear my
Albert's
question?
question about selling?
Yes. Yeah. So state the question again. You did cut out a little bit. So
So, you were saying that when it would come time to refinance, you may have to bring 50K to the table, right? My
correct.
question was, and then I'll repeat what Austin said too. My question was, in that year and a half time, are there ways for you to increase the value of the property in order to bring less to the table?
Hmm.
Or Austin was saying, would it be an option to sell the property in a year and a half?
To sell in a year and a half, yes, it is possible. The money down was just to stick to the same amount of the monthly note. It would like same value, same DSCR, 75% of the
But if your property value goes up, does that have anything to do with your rents would have to go
yes.
up basically, right?
The I can increase the property value without increasing the rent. I've done that already with some of the minor modifications
Right,
I've
but
made.
that doesn't have any impact on your note, is what you're
No,
saying.
no, it doesn't
I
have any
got
impact on the note. It is purely I just need another $50,000 down to get the note to where want it to be. He could do it right now. I could actually go
gotcha.
theoretically. I could go and he's got the paperwork. I could sign right now, 75%, but my note would be $800 more a month if I did that. I don't want that.
Right. And so with that additional 50K, is this your cash on cash return still good for your investment?
Still good.
Okay, cool.
So I want to bring up something that you said, and you're welcome to 100% disagree with me, and we welcome that here on this platform. You said um, that you increase the value of the property by making improvements to the
Mhm.
property.
Yes.
What I would argue on that is the value of the property is an indirect effect of making improvements to the property. I'll explain. Making improvements to the property doesn't improve the value of the property. It does not. I would say that. Making improvements to the property increases your potential rental income.
Okay.
The income which produces the profit, that's what produces an increase in value. Does that make sense? So the reason why I want to say that is because yes, you're doing what you are doing the right stuff to get the value to increase, but until you can get the rents to
Mhm.
increase, the actual sellable value of the properties remains the same. So the only way to get the value of a investment property to increase, I may be beating a dead horse, and I apologize if I
Those are-
is to generate more money by raising rents.
Yeah. So my question, and you could tell from my experience in the single family side, my questions were kind of how are you creating or how are you increasing the value of this property? And we're talking about physical changes and upgrades and things like that. Austin is saying is yeah, but what that does is it increases the attractiveness of your property in order to increase your rents, and
Yes,
that is what increases the value of your property,
Yes. So
the
there's a
additional
mixture.
income.
There's a mixture of both. There are
Yeah.
things that it just makes the property look. I took down all the satellite dishes on the front of the property.
Yeah, I saw that. I drove by there. It's like,
Okay, they're all
yeah,
gone. So it looks pretty. So it's more
it's
like
got some curb appeal a little
someone.
bit,
Yeah, it's got curb
as much
appeal
as
from
a
another
rectangular
investor.
box could, right?
The rest is like refinishing the tubs inside for
Cool.
it's refinishing the showers and
Yeah.
just new fixtures and things like that. So yes, there's a little bit of that here and there. But yeah, it's a mixture of the curb appeal. The fences were falling down in the back, so I fixed those.
mm.
Yeah, cleaned up all the trash. But and then each unit is just it's their basic units, so there's not much
And
to them.
your tenants probably really appreciated that too. I'm sure.
Yes, they did. So that makes the property more attractable to someone else to buy it because the tenants are being taken care of.
It
Not
also
that.
makes the tenants more likely to stay when their lease
Yes,
is up and more likely to accept a rent increase.
correct. And
And
so that is part of the
yeah,
like the unrealized, you know.
Yeah, I just felt like from my perspective, dealing with so many investors, both on the commercial and residential side, it is kind of a myth that if you make improvements to your property, it increases the value. There's a step in there's a missing element to that equation that a lot of people aren't factoring in. And it's what you're doing. You're increasing your occupancy, you're increasing your retention with your tenants by making those improvements. And then you're also gradually improving the 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 potential rental income by doing that.
Correct. I have an allocated amount per month to do the repairs, but yeah, it's the attrition rate. Like to make sure that's the unrealized capital, or the
Yeah.
where it makes the property worth more. The value can go up just to on the retention part.
Have you had to raise rents on tenants, and how did that go?
No, it's still all the same tenants except for one. And I just kept the rent the same on that one until I can actually do something measurable, like the windows.
Yeah.
That would be a measurable, not just an aesthetic pleasing thing, but it would help with their electricity and
Yeah.
all around. Just rent on that.
Yeah, you're justifying that rent increase by making improvements to the property.
Correct.
All right. Awesome. Awesome. Okay. We want to get to the numbers. Albert, did you have anything else?
Um, so besides the windows, right, are there any other type of capital improvements like, AC systems, electrical, flooring jobs, anything like that, and on the horizon, or mainly just the windows for now?
The previous owner did most of those.
Good.
AC's roof,
Man, you walked into a solid deal.
water heaters, new floors. It was 75-80%,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
Austin, I think I'm gonna just drop off early and just go to my room and cry.
You
I'm
should,
really happy
man.
for you, Edric. Man, you deserve that, man. It's pretty cool. I'm glad you got
Well,
that deal.
well, there's more, and they're not just hiding off market. They are on LoopNet and Craigslist and CoStar right now, and you just got to dig through them. So that's definitely what we're going to do. Um, so if do you mind if we talk about numbers? Because I want to get
Sure.
into I want to help our listeners understand how we know this is a good deal. And it's going to be, if I go back to the deal evaluator calculator, we can probably just plug it in right there.
Yeah.
But I mean, ultimately, this thing's it's got a cash flow. You know that it's appreciating in value because you're gradually improving the net operating income. And this number right here comes from two things. It comes from maximizing your income and minimizing your expenses, right? And it sounds like you've done an excellent job minimizing the expenses.
Yes.
However, I do think it's worth mentioning that a lot of bankers they're going to factor in some type of property management fee, even if the owner is. Does that make sense? They're going to factor in, 8 to 10% just for property management, even if the owner's managing the property,
Hmm.
because most buyers are going to want to factor that in.
That's fine. And some people might bow out at that point because I am managing the property myself. It is doable with one person, but
So we got a Galveston County 8 unit. Do you remember how much you purchased it for?
just say 550. It was like 486 was the loan. Just say 550.
And now, do you know that the current monthly NOI? Do you have an idea, or do you know what your income and expenses are, and we can estimate the NOI based on that?
All eight are rated at 950. Let's say 950 a piece. There's some late fees that come in, but just say almost say 7,500 a month.
So 95, 950 times 8.
Yeah.
So it's about 7,500 a month. Good.
Yeah.
Now, here's a number for anyone that's looking to evaluate multifamilies. A good rule of thumb is 60%. Um, an average expense ratio is about 60%. It's about 3,000. Are you spending less than 3,000 in expenses, would you say, per month?
Not counting the loan, just 3,000 in
Yeah,
expenses.
not counting like just your normal, not
Like
capital repairs, just your
But that would be
normal
taxes and insurance too, right, Austin?
taxes, insurance, any utilities, any type of like
Like
yard
lawn
maintenance.
care,
3,000 a month just for taxes, insurance, and maintenance.
Yeah, would you say that's accurate?
No,
You say it's less?
yes, a
Okay.
month.
So you're killing the steal. I'm gonna
yeah.
say let's just assume that's 60%. That's just on the high side. So that would be that 60% could potentially include property management that you're not paying right now. So let me do that again. So 950 times 8 says 7,600. We're going to subtract 60%. So we get a monthly net operating income of about $3,000. Did I do that right?
Yeah.
An annual profit margin of 36,480.
And then what was his down payment? He brought 10%, right? About 10%.
Right.
Yeah,
10,
like
10%.
yeah,
I,
50,000.
I feel like I did that number wrong. Let me try that one more time. So the 950 times 8, I think I meant 40%. Your expenses should be 40%, not 50%. So you should be doing about 45
Times
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 12.
12.
Thank you.
Yeah.
45 times 12. And I guess my calculator times 12 should be getting you about 50,720.
54.
54,720. That's what I'm talking about. That's the number that I think.
Yeah, dude. Crushing
Yeah.
it.
So we'll break this down. Now, your expenses may be a little bit more than 40%. They may be less than 40%. But the thing that makes this deal magical is if you look at this 26% cash on cash return, if I would have raised that back to 20%, that's a big difference on your cash on cash return. So you're getting
Mm.
26. You have a 10 cap right now. So the cap rate means if you look right here, it's just taking your NOI and dividing it by your purchase price. NOI 54,720 dividing by your purchase price. That's going to get your cap rate. I'm really not interested in spending a lot of time looking at anything that has less than an 8% cap rate unless I know that the seller or the agent is motivated. Um, you'll like this. It shows the DSCR at 1.36, and then right here in green, it meets the 1.25 target. So if this DSCR is lower, then it's going to say you're below. It's going to show up in red. So it makes it easy. Break even occupancy 73. So as long as you keep this at 70% occupancy, you're going to break even. You're at 100, so you're definitely killing it. And then interest rate, we didn't calculate this interest rate. Is your is this where your interest rate is, or is it higher or lower?
No, it's 8%, I believe, for 2 years interest only.
Oh, okay, so that's gonna. Oh, I need to add an interest only metric to this because you put 10%, you're paying 8% interest only. I got to do a little checkbox right there. So I'll update that. But dude, you're getting probably way more than that. If you're only paying interest only, your cash on cash return is going to be probably in the 30s or 40% with that interest only for 2 years. But then you got to calculate that again because your number is going to change in 2 years when that balloons up, right? Did I cut out or did he cut out?
I think Edric might have cut out.
Okay, no worries. So, what do you think, Albert? What are some of your thoughts that you have?
Well, it's just really,
I
I'm really happy for him, man. It's a solid deal. Um, I mean, we knew it was a solid deal as well. So we already knew like whoever gets this, there's just really no way you can lose money unless you just go in and just completely piss everybody off and they move.
Yeah, And a lot of sellers, the benefit to the seller too, like you may be thinking, well, the seller, he got
Well, the
screwed
seller
and
was in it. So kind of, if you can, Austin, just, not to cut you off, but you were kind of, you have visibility on kind of both sides of this,
yeah.
you know. Um, can you share anything with, now that the deal is closed, right? And it's now changed, Edric is rocking it. Can you share any motivations that the seller had
Yeah.
with selling the property?
So the challenge, you got to understand the challenges that the seller was having with the property at that time. Um, uh, the time that was required for him to manage that property didn't align with the other projects that he was working on. So he's focused on, and this is where specialization really comes into play because he's working on land and development and bigger development projects, as well as like some syndication stuff that really was different. It's just a different strategy. And some people, they don't find out until they start doing a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of that, that you just can't do five different types of investing with excellence. But if you choose your lane and stick to that lane, you can really go much faster. You can build up momentum quicker. And so for him, it wasn't really anything to do with the property as much as it had to do with taking his focus and um, his time and energy away for something else that was just a better fit for him at that. So the fact that he didn't have to sell financially, he just wanted to get out of it, and he is focusing more on lending and money. And we'll probably have him on the show, and he can probably explain it better than me. But he was in a position where he could hold the note for another 2 years. He just didn't want to have to deal with the property anymore, and that was just like the perfect fit for Edric. Am I right, Edric?
Yep. And so my payment to him helps keep his note afloat for the next 2 years, year and a half now.
And being in a volatile market, that's another major factor right now because market's been down since September of 2022. And people know like it's better in a lot of cases. And we've done multiple owner finance deals this year. We've done more owner finance deals this year than any year I've been in this business.
Mm.
It's because the seller knows I need to get out of the property. If I don't sell it, I can't sell it because of bank financing. Like we sold a condo that couldn't be financed by a bank. And her attitude was, well, I'm not going to be able to sell it anyway. So I'd rather sell it and get paid in 2 years than try to sell it for 2 years.
Hmm.
Because at least when you're financing it to a new buyer, you're not carrying all those carrying costs for owning the property. So yeah. So it worked out for everybody. There's a win-win there.
Yeah, it's good, dude. There was a good agent on both
That's a
transactions.
big, yeah, good agent. Yeah, wasn't yeah, right in the middle. So, all right, Edric. So what's next now? So you're looking at auctions, you're looking at and we appreciate you were on the show a couple months ago as a guest. So what's next? You hold on to these types of properties or do you have an exit strategy or are you gonna take it to your grave?
There's no exit strategy with this one. Like you were saying about Corey, timing is everything. So
Hmm.
he is focused on something else. Uh, right now, this works for me. I am focused on, like you were talking about the lanes. I put in 3 bids for some auctions tomorrow in Florida. So 3 houses came up for tax deeds, great single families, 3 2s, all nicely price point. So we'll see tomorrow if any of those go through. If not, just keep looking at auctions in Texas and Florida. And as another eightplex, fourplex, or whatever you're about to send me today or tomorrow, Austin, then I'll take a look at that as well.
Yeah, you might be going to Midland tonight. So
No,
there you
all
go.
right, let's
There you
go.
go. All right. Well, excellent job, Albert. You have anything else, brother?
No, man, just again, congrats, Edric, on that deal. Man, just keep crushing it, and love to bring you back on too whenever you get through this DSCR process, right? I mean,
Mhm.
down further down the road, kind of have another catch up on the property, whether you get it refinanced, you decide to sell it, to catch up with you, or hopefully a lot sooner when you get your next deal, because you're doing a great job, man. Congrats.
Awesome.
And if you're thinking about buying something or if you're looking at a property and you want us to evaluate it live on the air, feel free to share it with us. We promise we will not cut in line if you're putting an offer on something. But yeah, send us your deals. I have a whole list of deals. Next week on REI 101, we will be continuing our evaluation series for the month of June. We'll have do some more multifamily properties. You can short term lease those multifamilies, and we got a couple of those on the market right now. Or you can long term lease student housing. There's a lot of things you can do when you buy those. So Edric, we appreciate you joining us, being on. Did you have any last words for any
That's
big lessons that you want to convey to the audience of investors today?
it. An eightplex is not a single family house.
It's not.
It is an apartment complex. It's a so it is a different beast. There is maintenance and other items that are involved, not in single family.
Yeah, it needs a little more attention, doesn't it?
Yes,
Well, we'll get there.
but it's worth it. At least this one's been worth it.
Well, appreciate you jumping on. Thanks for joining us,
All right.
Edric,
Thank you.
Albert. Go get it. Have a great week. Time block. Hit your numbers. Hit your goals. We're halfway through the year. The Q2 is coming to an end. So are you halfway to your goals? You should be. If not, call me. Have a good one. Bye.
All right. Bye.